What's up, guys? It is Carly here bringing you day number 8 of my 31 Days of Horror, and today I'm going to be talking about a film that is more along the lines of a horror comedy, but it does have some horror elements nonetheless, and that is The Witches of Eastwick from the year 1987. Now, going into this movie, I didn't really know anything about it. It was just kind of one of those random films that I picked up at Goodwill just because it looked horror enough to me, and figured it was something interesting. Never really heard anyone talk about it, which is kind of surprising because it does have kind of a big cast. It's got Jack Nicholson, Cher, Susan Sarandon, and Michelle Pfeiffer, who were, of course, all pretty big back then and even today. So, yeah, this movie is also based on a story. I'm not sure if it's an actual book or just a short story, but, like I said, I didn't really know much about this movie or really heard anyone talk about it when I picked it up. I just figured I would randomly grab it. And yeah, so this movie follows these 3 women. They're all friends. They live in this small town of Eastwick in Rhode Island. And they're a little bit dissatisfied with their lives because all of them lost their husbands. One of them died, one of them divorced, and one of them abandoned his wife. So they're all a little disappointed, and they kind of get together and just talk about, daydream a little bit about having a guy in their life, and all the while they're actually witches and don't realize it. And then one day this dude comes to town, and he's kind of mysterious and weird, and he has a name that for some reason people have trouble remembering after he tells it to them. So he's a very sketchy type of character, but he ends up kind of seducing these women one by one and showing them a little bit about their witching powers. And they, at first, they're really into it and are hanging out at his mansion and just loving their lives for a little bit, but then some things start to take a turn for the worse, and they start questioning things and wondering if they should maybe made a mistake with getting into all this witch type stuff and getting involved with this man. So that's kind of what's going on in this film. I gotta say, it's definitely more, I wouldn't even say comedic. It doesn't really have a lot of things that make you laugh out loud or anything, but it's more lighthearted, I guess you could say would be the best way to put this movie. It's not overly funny and it's not overly scary. It's like that perfect little blend where it's just kind of a fun movie to watch. I will say towards the end when things start to go wrong a little bit, it does have some dark moments to it that are pretty effective. Once again, not terrifying or anything like that, but effective. Definitely has that dark vibe behind it that I enjoy. Jack Nicholson in this movie is great. I think he's a great actor. I've never really seen him in too much other than, of course, The Shining, because that is my favorite horror movie, but I think he does a great job because he's playing this sort of crazy character in this movie, and he's playing a crazy character in, like, The Shining, but they're totally different types of crazy, if that makes any sense, and he does a good job of just giving a whole new personality. It doesn't feel like he's playing the same character over and over again, so I do think he's a really good actor. I also like the 3 girls that play the witches. You know, it's kind of funny to see them all when they're young like this. Once again, I haven't really seen them in too many things, even though they are popular people. Cher, of course, is a singer, but Susan Sarandon is the one that I'm most familiar with, but I think they're all very likable characters, and they're fun to follow. I also really like the setting in this movie. I always love that small town setting, especially in an area like Rhode Island. It's just a very beautiful, cozy type of place, so I really like that about it. Overall, it's a very fun movie, a very decent witch film, I would say. It's definitely got a good vibe to watch it around Halloween, even though it's not really, I guess, a Halloween movie. I always feel like witch movies are just perfect for this time of year, so I really had a lot of fun with it. Like I said, it's not necessarily a horror movie, although IMDb does have horror listed, and I always go by that, but it definitely follows the comedic slash fun genre more than anything. So if you're looking for a horror movie, this definitely isn't It's, which I guess you can kind of guess just by the title and what's going on in it, but, yeah, I thought it was pretty good, though. I was pleasantly surprised. I was kind of turned off by watching this one for a while just because it runs an hour and 18 minutes, and we all know that I hate movies that are about 2 hours long, and that's kind of what you're getting with this, but it doesn't drag or anything like that, and yeah, pretty good movie. I would probably give this one an 8.5 out of 10 just for the fun factor, so yeah, 8.5 out of 10 for The Witches of Eastwick. I will say, sorry that I'm reviewing movies that kind of are borderline horror on my 31 Days of Horror, but these are kind of just movies that I've had in my collection for a while and have kind of put off just for that basic reason that they're not overly horror, some of them. Some of them are. I am going to be reviewing more horror movies, don't get me wrong, but yeah, this is more of just a fun type of Halloween feel type of movie, so yeah. 8.5 out of 10. Thank you guys for joining me for day number 8 of my 31 Days of Horror, and I will see you for day number 9.